What it do, worldwide crew is not what you say, it is what you do. This your boy Uncle Jerry with another episode of Uncle Jerry Live. Remember, y'all, thank y'all for tapping in with your boy. Right now, give me some stars. Like and share the live, man. I got another great one, another great show lined up for y'all with a great guest. Remember, continue to follow me. Ruby's Not In Tonight. It's a Week in the World podcast. Follow the Uncle Jerry Stereo podcast on all podcast platforms. And follow Uncle Jerry 330 on all the platforms. Like I said, we got a great show tonight. I got a great word today. And I thought about this topic. It's something to make us think. From what we see, we don't have no answers for. So with that being said, tonight I want to get right into it. If you don't catch the live right now, catch the but if you're on right now, the chat is open and hop in. And we got a great show tonight live with a very special guest, Stacy Horning. She's going to give us some information. I've been feeling great. How y'all been feeling, y'all? It's Wednesday night. How's everybody feeling? I feel great. I got the energy in me. Went in, got my workout in. I feel good. And to everyone that's putting that health and making those steps and doing that thing, doing things for their health and wellness, congrats to you. I'm going to give you some flowers. I know the journey is not easy, but every step should be a good step. Wake up positive and do one step for your health and wellness. If you're doing that, put a 1 in the chat. If you're being honorable, put a 1 in the chat. If you're, and it's getting real out here, but see what's really, really going on, put a 1 in the chat. Like I said, that was Bulldogs play Massillon, and again, it was a tough game, But what I saw, doing whatever they could to win. Y'all know, usually Massillon McKinley games they blow us out. I'm gonna keep it real. But for them boys to come out and play hard, that come coaching staff, hey, Coach Parnell, Wednesday doing his thing. Like I said, we used to get blown out by those boys, and I watched it. And we as fans and Cantonians, how bad we want to beat Massillon all the time, we put a lot of pressure on them boys. Even myself, the coach, the game, that gets put on our boys to perform not only every week, but especially in that game. So I want to give those boys flowers on a job well done. I think we see some great things. I know there are great things to come for the Bulldogs. And for myself, I need to support more. And people in the community feel the same way. I shout out to the city of Canton. Y'all came and showed out. Y'all filled them stands up like it used to be. That made them boys go hungry, go harder. I mean, that was nothing. It was just smash mouth football. But when you can't score, your defense gets tired. And shout out to them boys. And that's the pressure we put on our kids. Imagine the pressure those boys face every day before a game. You got to win after the game, And so I say that to say this. We as Cantonians need to put that same pressure on these development people. All these promises they said they was going to make to it. That same pressure we apply to those boys, things in our community and how it's affecting us and the players that's involved. So with that being said, I had to do my research. I had to dig and find out. I'm like the kid. I see things. I don't know what's going on. It was so fast. I mean, news here, gone and not. This episode, we're going to learn today what's going on in our city, what has been going on. So like I said, without further ado, y'all bring her up here. Let's give it up for Stacy Hornsby. How you doing, Stacy? How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I cannot complain. Good evening and welcome. I welcome being a guest on the show tonight. How you feeling again? How you feeling?
Thank you. Yeah,
okay, so
feeling real good.
I want to get right into it, right? When I ride down 77, right, and I look to my right, and I see what I see right there, and how I've been seeing it for so long, I had to ask myself a question. I feel like a whole lot of Cantonians asking this question. What is going on, Stacy?
Well, I mean, I think that it started with a very noble idea, but the wrong people got their hands on it, and now it's just become one big scam. I mean, I've gone through all the SEC filings. They've had over $558 million worth of capital to work with. There's only $250 million worth of assets, and they're $270 million in debt.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? You don't burn up that kind of money if there's not some foul play involved.
And this goes back because it's so many. Listen, y'all, this Uncle Jerry Live got Stacy on here. There's so many layers to this. And when me and Stacy talk, I said I want to break down all the layers as best as we can. Maybe it's got to be a part two, but I want to go back. This started when? 2014. Am I correct? When we first got the news that something great was happening to our city. Is that correct? Was it 2014?
Yep, the initial announcement was 2014, and from 2014 to 2017, the whole project was under the Pro Football Hall of Fame's umbrella. It wasn't until Stuart Lichter was brought on board did they take it private,
Okay.
and then they separated from the Hall of Fame, or from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Wow, it was like so many things we supposed to have so many things for the water park, things for NFL. Like they was doing a whole full takeover. So they did start doing things, right? They had a phase 1 to it, and then what happened when they started phase 1? Because the city was on
Well,
fire. I mean, not to cut you off, the city was so on fire. The visual, the
yep,
marketing, we were on fire for this. We were so excited for this. And then
yeah.
phase 1 happened. Then what happened, Steve?
Well, I think a lot of what happened is just blatant mismanagement. They don't have, and they've never had the appropriate people in the appropriate positions. The two people doing the most decision making have no experience in sports or entertainment.
Wow.
So, you can't run an entertainment hub like you would a nursing home. You know what I mean? There's different things that need to play in for that. But when I started researching what was going on, I found that this developer, this is his playbook.
Wow.
It's mostly in Ohio. There's something about Ohio laws that make it very attractive for developers to start projects and then just move on. They don't have to finish them. The finishing isn't the problem. The finishing is it's optional.
Wow.
You just have to get the properties and then announce it, and that's when the money comes.
So initially, we had the money.
Yeah.
We had to. So you said certain things only costed this much to build. The finances were in place to give us the community, this village. It was in place,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So now we have to ask ourselves, right? 14 years, phase 1 drops. People say they're not getting paid. We have to ask again, what happened? You know what I mean?
Well, that's another thing I found out is that shortly after taking the company public, Michael Crawford moved all the revenue generating assets into private LLCs away from the public company. So the public company barely owns anything. The stadium and the youth fields belong to Canton.
Now break
So
that
they
down.
don't.
Now let's now hold on. Miss Hornsby, the teacher, break this down to us, right? Who owns what, right? Now
So
this all
Kansas City
empty.
Schools owns Tom Benson Stadium and the youth fields, which is now
Okay.
Forever Lawn Sports Complex. The stadium is leased to the Hall of Fame Village. The youth fields are leased to the Hall of Fame Village and then subleased to a company called Unrivaled or Sandlot. I think one's a parent company and one's a smaller company, but it's the same difference.
Wow.
So they are leased and then subleased. But Kansas City Schools owns both of those properties.
Wow. So let's talk about the players involved. You got Kansas City Schools, right? First,
Yep.
it was Hall of Fame Village, and the NFL was going to try to do it themselves. They bring in the Stuart Lichter guy, right? So
Right.
what happens is, like, he's in here. He already has other buildings that's not completed, right? And from there, I'm trying to find out, even in my own mind, helping with a timeline from 14 years of what's not happening. You know what I mean? And what we still seeing. So the first contract just happened, it failed. Then what happened? Did everything stalled? I heard something about another company, Johnson Controls took over a lot of things. We were hearing that's still confusing. If you can help us clear it up, please.
Okay, well, so first of all, went from 2014 to 2017 when it was under the hall. There's not a ton of information about what happened to that initial money. I know there was a lot of mismanagement there too, but by 2017 they were seriously in debt. They needed a Hail Mary. And so I'm sure they went looking for developers that would take over this project. And given Stuart Lichter's track record, he jumped at the idea. So then when he took over in 2018 and they built some things, which if you notice, all the things that they have built are significantly sized down from the things that they promised us. Some of them never materialized altogether. It
What
was
were
the
some of
press.
the things they promised us, Stacy?
Oh,
Let the
well, they
people.
promised us an old folks home for retired football players.
I know.
There was the esports. There was supposed to be a gaming hub. The sports betting, they were supposed to have that. Well, I mean, Don Shula's did come, but they got out of there within 18 months, I think. And it's just everything that they promised, it either never materialized or it was like the generic version. And so, I mean, I don't know where it's going to take somebody with more ability to see financials than I have. I can't look into people's personal financials to find out where the money actually went because there's no way that you could have burned through $500 million.
Say $500 million,
A half a
and that's
billion
more
dollars,
than enough to have everything we need. You know what I mean? So
everything. And if it wasn't enough, then they should have used the stadium to generate what they needed to expand.
mhm.
But they never wanted to hear that. It was just kind of throw it together and move on. Nothing ever got the attention it deserved because, like I said, they just don't have the right people in the right places.
And when you say you don't have the right people in the right, that's very key that you said that. You know what I mean? For
Hmm.
so long, the wrong people are not in position, right? So, with that being said, and nothing is happening, right? So
Right.
now, let's go back. Now, here they come with the first idea. Cantonians, we so happy. The community is happy, right? So, how does this affect us as Cantonians? Of us, our taxpayer money? Has our taxpayer money been affected? Is grant money been affected? How are we affected by it? Not
Well,
only
they kind of hit us in a few really significant ways. The first is the Tourism Development District tax. That is a 5% tax on all events and a 3% or 2% tax on all dining and drinking at the downtown district and on the Hall of Fame Village
wow,
campus. And so in normal cities, because a lot of cities do this tourism thing, first of all, there's tourism in those cities. There's no tourism here. And second of all, those cities have some sort of oversight. They have the money goes to a comptroller or there's a board overseeing it. Like the Syntax in Cleveland, that goes to the three sports teams. But there's a board of individuals that has to get together when they want something, when they want to spend that money, like if they need a new jumbotron or if they want upgrades to something. There's a board that they have to approach and ask for that money. This money, our tourism development, it just goes straight into a fund that Hall of Fame Village controls.
wow, wow.
And I cannot find a single other tourism tax that is run like that. This is the only one I could find in America. I mean, I doubt other countries would even do something so silly, but so that's the first tax. Then they get tax increment financing, which means instead of paying their property taxes, so okay, say that by developing that land, the value goes up from $100,000 to $10 million. Any property taxes that's over the original taxable amount just goes into a special fund for them to pay back, for them to continue development or pay off some of their loans. Like it doesn't, and Kansas City Council will say, well, it costs the taxpayers nothing. And that's a lie. That's completely false because those people, like those organizations are using the same resources, the same services that we pay tax money to keep running.
Right.
Police and fire, infrastructure, you know what I mean? We pay into that as individuals, but they don't have to, and they still use the same services, the roads. So when they say it doesn't cost anything, the money has to come from somewhere. Those services have to be paid from somewhere, but it's not them.
Wow. Uncle
Yeah.
Jay, I was sitting there with Stacy, and it's like it's like I said, there's so many layers to this. So
Yeah.
let's get back. Your involvement with this was you were an employee at one time, right? And you worked for this
Yeah.
Hall of Fame Village. Is that correct?
Yeah, I worked there for 3 years. I was an operations coordinator. My I was mainly at the stadium, but I mean, there when I started working there, there was only like 10 people that worked there.
Mm.
So when you start working at a startup, I mean, everybody just does whatever needs done. And back in those times, everyone was still really hopeful. I don't think most people knew that it was a racket, and because everybody worked really hard, it was heartbreaking to
Mm.
work there the next 3 years and just watch people be so careless. So careless was something that people in Canton really, really had their hearts hoping for.
What was the one thing for you working that time that you was like, man, this is too much? What was that one thing that you saw when you say carelessness? What was that one careless thing that you saw that you was like, man, this is enough?
When I found out the CEO made $5 million a year,
Run that
and
back.
we hadn't
Run that
turned a
back.
profit. We had never experienced a quarter in the black. We had never turned a single profit. So how are you paying, and like the entry level people were making 16 bucks an hour. So he made in 4 days what some people made all year.
All year. Wow.
Like it's just that's when I found that out is kind of when it started to fall apart for me, because
Mm.
you can't look somebody in the face knowing that they have the control to pay people better and they're just taking it for themselves.
It's not fair. So you went on a mission, right? And you start making moves. You start talking to people. So who were some of the first people you started talking to in this? Once you had all your facts and you had your receipts together, did you go to the city of Canton?
Well, first I went to Stuart Lichter himself,
Uh,
and I emailed him and I told him that I pretty much that I had figured out what was going on, that it was a scam, and that I felt very deeply that it could still be turned around. And I put together a plan, a revival plan, and I said that if he didn't respond to me, that I was going to take it public and let the public decide. And I don't think any of them ever cared about the community or
and you
just.
know what? I'm not that hurt because you're still even you knew it was a scam. You still coming in for your caring about our city that much to try to make it right, even when you knew it was a scam. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah, because I figured that if somebody that cared enough got in there, and like I could have turned it around. I don't know how long it would have taken, but I'm confident. I know I could turn it around still today, but not with the leadership that's there.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Nobody needs to be making 6 figures right now while the company is teetering on the edge of bankruptcy.
mm. Wow.
Nobody's making smart choices, but it was hard for me. It was hard for me, like you said, to watch everybody so full of hope, so excited, and then just to have like Canton doesn't need any more heartbreak. We don't need any more broken hearts. We don't need any more disappointments. You know what I mean? It's time for a comeback story for this town, and they're doing everything they can to work against that.
And like you said, you're taking the right steps. The first thing we gotta do, people, is we gotta let them know. We gotta let our voices be heard and
Hmm.
talk to the people. So that's what
Yeah,
Stacey's doing. You went to Stewart first, and then where'd you go to next? You went right to the boss hog off Nichols, like, listen, holler at me, right?
yeah.
So where you go next, Stacey, from there?
I went to city council. I went to city council and I pretty much begged them to help me. Told them I was exhausted and that they didn't anybody that was from here that worked there was treated the worst. And I think the reason why is because they didn't want to care about it. They didn't want anybody else to care about it. It was always meant to be a scam. And so I went to city council and like I said, I pretty much begged them for help. And so then the mayor called me the next day, and I guess just me being naive, I thought the mayor was calling me to say, yeah, like I understand what you're saying. I feel your frustration.
Right.
How can I help? And I asked him to request a forensic audit, and he flat out told me no. He said no.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, okay, I'm on my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know what I mean?
So, but then after that, I reached out to the Ohio auditor myself, the OAG, the SEC, just any, and I think that I don't know, I've never been in a situation like this where somebody has done something really horrible, but I think, I don't know, maybe from the movies, I always just had this naive frame of mind that if I caught somebody doing something and I reported them, there would be accountability, but that's not the way it is. Like there's
Accountability is at an all-time low right now, and on all levels.
right. I mean, you have to really get somebody to listen to you and care in order to make something happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. When I think about it, it's like, listen, Stacey, this is what everybody thinking. Why do you care, Stacey? The guy's getting away with it. You know what I mean? He can take as long as he wants. There's nothing we can do. We got to keep looking at this eyesore forever. It's been investors that invested money, right? I wonder how they feel. How do you think the investors feel to actually put money into this, right? And getting scammed and not even getting no results at all, right? And they're saying, why try? There's nothing we can do. What's your response to that?
Well, I mean, I, I guess the response to that is what else are we going to do? Like what is the other outcome? You know what I mean? Because somebody's going to have to do something and it's not going to be Stuart Lichter.
Mm,
So this is our city. These are our assets. And I'm not going to let it happen anymore. Like you don't get to do that. You
mm.
don't get to do that, not in my town. And I wish other people would start standing up to him from other towns because he's all over Ohio doing it. And that's the thing. If you were doing so poorly at the Hall of Fame Village, why did you then go acquire additional properties? You know what I mean? Like he puts everything in these private LLCs,
Mm.
which I mean, you can do that. It's not illegal, but it's shady.
Shady. Wow, that's crazy. It's like so many players involved, and
Well, and consider all the vendors that still haven't been paid. There's $11 million in mechanics liens.
let's talk about the money that's out here that's in debt, right? You
Yeah.
said $11 million. Now we sit and we look at this futuristic water park that never came to be, right? Who owns the land on that? Who is it elected? I mean, who owns what? Talk to me.
Well, so initially, Hall of Fame Village did own that land, but they sold that land to a leasing company, Blue Owl or Oak Street. It's the same. They're merger companies again, but so they sold that land. They paid them, I think, $23 million for the land, and then they gave them a $25 million loan, and they used our stadium for collateral.
Wait a minute.
And so now they've defaulted on that loan because they say they're broke. They are $4 million behind in lease payments. So they're not even allowed on the water park land if they wanted to. Like if they wanted to start back up construction tomorrow, they are evicted off that land.
With a
Yeah.
$4 million lease, so you got to pay
Yeah.
four. Wow.
And that's the thing. The leasing company doesn't even have to, they don't have to give them another lease. They could just say no.
Wow. That's oh, man. We got, like I told you guys, there's so many layers to this,
Yeah.
right? So and now you're on the show, right? It's time for our power word of the day, right? And it's Uncle J Live. I do a power word of the day. And this word, we sat down last night and you thought this word, right? It was a new word to me. I never really heard this word before, but it has such a powerful meaning. And our sponsor today is Stephen Beatty. If y'all know Stephen Beatty from our city, he is a Food Network champion. He is a Hall of Fame, Olympic chef. And he has a great seasoning called Pop's Secret Seasoning. Listen, you put it on everything. It's a special blend from his father. We got a rep for our city, y'all. And if you haven't, go to www.popsecretseasoning.com. Get on there. The seasoning is very affordable and it's great stuff. Listen, get there right now. And the word day is brought to you by Pop's Secret Seasoning. Big shout out to my boy Stephen Beatty. Y'all know what he do. He's chef premier. I gotta give him the love, Stacey. I gotta give him the love. Today's word, you guys, is malfeasance. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Boom. Whoo, Stacey, I practiced the word. I had to make sure it's a you know what I mean? I had to say malfeasance, right?
Yeah.
And y'all know how I get down. I say the word, like I said, it's so elegantly, malfeasance. I define it and I say how that word relates to life, and even how this word relates to the situation, right? So the definition of malfeasance is an act that is illegal and causes physical or monetary harm to someone else. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Malfeasance, the definition is an act that is illegal and causes physical or monetary harm to someone else. In life, guys, listen, we all did some malfeasance things. You can feel it. You know what I mean? It's an energy. That's a negative energy that comes in to me, right? And it's illegal. It's manipulative. That's how I feel. All the things we saw, all the newspaper clippings, all the 3D articles, all the promises that made our city that came from the steel mill. We had nothing but steel, and when we lost those mills, we was looking for a savior. And you took art and used malfeasance, in my opinion, to distort us and give us a vision that never seemed to be 14 years later. Stacy, tell me, how do you feel about the word of the day, malfeasance?
I think it's very appropriate. I think that they definitely carried out a malfeasance here in Canton.
Wow, I mean that's crazy. When you think about it, all the manipulation and all that, and left, we've been blind. A lot of Cantonians don't even know what's going on. We're
Right.
seeing this stuff.
And now they're just like, every time you ask something, they like gaslight us, and I'm done. Like I said, you don't get to do that. And I don't care how far I have to take this. I don't care who I have to tell, but somebody's going to stand accountable for this here.
What do you think will be a phase one, like we're doing right now? We're spreading the word. We're getting the story out, right?
Hmm.
For Canton people that just find out, like, wow. When I hear this right now, I'm like kind of like pissed off, kind of enraged that we got bamboozled, run amok, ran astray. You know what I mean? What can we do as a collective to get some answers?
Well, first, the main thing that we have to do is to put pressure on Kansas City schools to terminate their leases.
Mm.
Because once they terminate their leases, the whole operation falls apart. So, you know what I mean? The stadium and the youth fields can be maintained and run as their own entities. They
Mm.
don't need to be ran by the Hall of Fame Village. There's
Mm.
plenty of good, honest people that care about Canton that would take on jobs at those places.
You ever notice
I
they never
just
hire us? My main thing is we never get no jobs. The
right.
Canton,
Well, that's the
why is
thing.
that?
When the jobs did come, when we did have jobs, they always moved people here. They would pay people to move here. I mean, they did it for a girl that was an executive assistant, like a secretary. You couldn't have found a secretary in Canton? You know what I mean? It was just the whole thing was always just weird. And I
Mm.
think it's because they didn't want too many of us there. They didn't want people that would look deeply and care deeply. They wanted to do their thing.
They used our emotions, would not take our people.
Yep. Yep.
That's
And I mean, the thing is, if you think about it, had I never started speaking up, they would still be getting there's
no,
no
the norm.
one was going to look at it. Because even today city council believes that there's a chance that success was never the plan. The plan was to extract. The plan was to extract whatever investor dollars, whatever resources they
Mm-hmm.
could, and then they're down the road. I threw a monkey wrench in that plan, but it's like impossible to get our city government to see that.
I believe with proper communication, getting the word out, it's going to happen. Right now, what's happening right now, do y'all see what? That's not fair. You know what I mean? To do our city like that and have us look at this eyesore and all the promises y'all made would never happen. It's not fair. So I'm going to ask you a question, Stacy. You got Stewart on the phone right now. No. You sitting right next to Stewart, face to face,
Uh-oh.
right? He's got his Gucci shoes on. He got his Gucci suit on. He's decked to the nines. You looking right at Stewart, and what you going to say to this man?
Why did you move all the revenue generating assets into private LLCs and away from the public company? If somebody could just answer that one question for me, I would stop tomorrow. If you can give me a reasonable answer as to why that ever happened, then I would quit. But there is no reasonable answer. There's no reason for anybody to do something like that unless they're doing something shady.
And finally, do you, in your mind and in your heart, being a Cantonian just like me, right? Do you think we'll ever see it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know about you, but when and you can ask anybody that knows me, when I get my mind set on something, I have like pretty severe ADHD and it's an ADHD thing. There is nothing that will
Mm,
stop me. There is nothing in the
wow.
world that will stop me from, and that's the thing, like it used to be worse. It used to keep me up at night. It used to give me like anxiety in my chest, and I don't have that anymore, but I'm no less motivated.
Mm.
I'm not even tired.
Do you think we'll ever get the Hall of Fame Village built? Do you think we'll ever see the water park? Do you think we'll ever see that one day?
I don't know about, okay, so the water park, I don't know if that building can be salvaged. Some people say it can, some people say it can't because it's been sitting 2 years.
Mm,
And you can see the beams are all rusted out. And I don't know that another contractor would want to come in and start in the middle of somebody else's work.
right.
So, but I mean, I don't know if those things will ever materialize, but I think once we get our stadium and youth fields back and we start using those to generate revenue for the city, we could absolutely have a nice Hall of Fame village.
I agree. I agree,
But it
man.
needs to be a community led model. It needs to be people from this community, people that care, and people that are honest. And I mean, in the beginning, it's probably gonna have to be a lot of us rolling up our sleeves and not even thinking about whether we're gonna make money because there's
Mm.
probably so much to do at the stadium alone.
It looks like a ghost town to me. It's like where it looks to me like a ghost town with a Ferris wheel. In my opinion, you got a ghost town with a Ferris wheel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm I'm so glad we sit down and then, like you said, there's more layers to be talked about in this, right? I wanted to get the players understand how it's affecting everybody, right? The money is it ever going to be a chance to ever happen again, and really us, the people. It's about
Hmm.
us to spread the word. Don't you agree, Stacey?
Yeah, I agree.
So
And I
lastly,
think that the confusion that they create is by design because if nobody knows what's going on, nobody's going to get mad enough to do anything about it.
right? And I had to say one thing. So I follow. Make sure y'all follow her on TikTok. Make sure you get TikTok for you. I followed you today. You had an interesting TikTok today that almost blew my mind, and I want you to clarify this for me. You said that I heard that 4 million a week. Could you break that down with something
4 million a month,
a
2
month?
million. So they had said they were going to do a merger. Well, they can't get the funding that they need, the financing that they need. So when these deadlines come up, they extend it another 2 weeks. Like this time it was from the 15th and now it's to the 31st. And every time they do that, the lender gives them $2 million.
Wow.
And that's supposedly operating costs. But if you're on the ropes, why haven't you fired everybody? You know what I mean? Fire everybody and start fresh.
Right. Why is
Or
that?
just or fire almost everybody and not be having $2 million every two $1 million a week in operating costs. That's nonsense.
Nonsense. So voting is coming up, right? And I appreciate you for your time. Voting is coming up, right? It's a lot of issues on the ballot. In your opinion, what issues should Cantonians really be looking for, and which ones they shouldn't even deal with at all?
Well, we have issue 1 and issue 8, and my only problem with issue 1 is that our Stark County Board of Developmental Disabilities went private a few years ago.
Okay.
And so when you take public dollars and use them on private services, it's very hard for the public to get accountability. And so I would like to, before I give any more of my tax dollars to anyone, I would like an answer on how we are going to make sure these funds are going to the right places.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We have AI available to us now. You can build websites that'll show you dollar for dollar where things are being spent. And we just don't have any of those in place. And issue 8, I would definitely say no because that is the head of Canton Parks and Recreation is J.R. Rinaldi, and he's the one that signed the stadium and youth fields over to the Hall of Fame Village.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So Kansas City schools just tied so many. It's like we watching a gangster movie with people that we
I
grew up and knew.
I know. It's like a movie, I swear to God. Like, I never even realized that these things actually go on in real life. I guess I was just oblivious or naive. But it's like I seriously feel like I'm in a mobster movie sometimes.
Like embezzlement, I see embezzlement, I see scam, I see flat out
There's
damn
fraud, there's
robbery.
kickbacks,
Right,
there's backroom deals.
right. How do people feel that invested their money in like and it's over with. Imagine you put 1,000 stock into this, right? And to see it's failing, how much hard work it took for you to put that money in and to get nothing.
Right. I know a group of friends that between the three of them invested $400,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if you put that much in Canton. This is somebody who probably put this money in Canton, believed in us. No matter what they was trying to gain from it, probably to help us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine how they feel right now. Where my 400? Where my 400 at?
Yeah. They were one of the first people to reach out to me when I started my TikTok. They're like, "We will support you all the way. Take it all the way because we lost 400K and like it's so disappointing just in people in general. Like no one that was supposed to protect us protected us. No one that was supposed to speak up for us spoke up for us. You know what I mean? They just let those people walk all over us. And if I have to be the one to stand up and say no more, then so be it.
I heard that. And our Cantonian people of the city, we got to stand up and ask some questions.
Yeah.
Let's formulate, and let's not going to stop here. We're going to keep it going. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's ask these questions. Stacey, I want you to come in and speak. You know what I mean? This is not the last time I'm going to talk to you. I want y'all to follow her. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We want to get answers. All we want is something great for our community that was promised to us.
Right.
And the money was there. We have to get some answers. What do you think, Stacey? We got to get
Yeah,
answers.
we
We're
have
going
to
to get
get some
answers
answers.
regardless.
We have to get some answers, and my only mission is to give the people of this community what they were promised 11 years ago. You know, and that's the thing. It's not much. We have the stadium and the youth fields belong to us. So you take the rest of the other things, keep those. I don't care. But we are going to use our community assets to benefit our community, and
That's
that's
what's
all there is to it. And I will leave no stone unturned until that happens.
And that's what's up. Hey, I love it. Stacey, thank you. Like I said, this is not the end. Uncle Jerry Live, my special guest, right?
Yeah.
Stacey came and dropped it on y'all. Thank you. Thanks for teaching us.
Thank you so
Every,
much.
everybody that was in class today, we learned something today. We learned how LLCs work, and we also are learning what happened. I'm the man that's going to get that what happened. Thank you, Stacey, for helping me find out what happened. We tired
Yeah,
of
of
riding by
course.
this eyesore, and that's what we doing, man. Remember, y'all, Stacey, it's not the last time.
All right, I'll see ya.
This Uncle Jerry, y'all remember, y'all love each other, be productive, and get scrape, y'all. Peace.